do it. Figaro. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
Okay,
there we are. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most must-see show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves or any airwaves. North, south, east, west, left, right, up, down, all around. The Wrestling Connection. I'm your host, as always, your connection to the wrestling world, your pontiff of professional wrestling, your purveyor of wrestling news, Mr. Ken Hill, alongside me, as always, my co-host, the Lone Wolf, the Anaconda Wolf, the Madman himself, Mr. Zach Martinkus.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's awesome to be back, and I'm pretty sure you know, so there's a change of attire with me, minus a little bit less hair, though. Yes, I do have a mohawk now, though. I wanted to do it for the longest time. I did it, and just for the record, though, yes, we do have a new champion, and thankfully, it's over on this side, not over there. Yes, for the seventh time.
Lucky seven.
Yep. My co-host, my partner in crime, and my best friend, my brother, Mr. Ken Hill, won back his title at WWE Payback, and it's funny as heck, though, because
it was right down to the wire.
Pretty much.
No, now for those who missed WWE Payback, you missed an awesome show, a real roller coaster, emotionally, physically. I mean, we'll get to that. But in the end, it came down to, surprise, surprise, another main event tiebreaker. And this time, I had 18 minutes for the main event. Zach had 25 minutes. And the main event, AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Championship, clocked in at 24 minutes and 58 seconds. Scant 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's your 2 cents. 2 seconds.
Yeah, and for the second time now,
under the wire.
Rumble, Payback. It's like, man, what is up with this?
I mean, it's basically a flip of, nowadays it's like a flip of a coin with that time breaker.
No kidding. I mean, just wow. I mean, and we did talk about it though. Yeah, it sucks though. I mean, because my birthday is this Tuesday.
It would have been nice for you, but look at it
birthday.
This way.
Thank you.
Look at it this way. You could have a belated birthday gift. You still have the Payback Party Bash bonus from a couple weeks ago. So you could very well have a nice belated birthday gift following WWE Extreme Rules in 2 weeks from Sunday.
Yep, and speaking of WWE Payback, we are gonna do the
Pay-Per-ReView.
All right.
Of course, alongside us in the control room, we have Mr. Nick, and of course, we have the infamous Mr. Greg Dolan. Miss Julie is attending a dance recital for her daughter and could not be here, but she is with us here in perky spirit.
What about Penn? Penn's right here.
Huh? Oh, and it's Penn. That's the dancing Penn.
And unfortunately, Julian wasn't able to make it, though, because he did have work, though. But, he did send in his regards, though. And, want to represent the stronghold. So, recognize, believe the hype.
All right.
So, yes.
So, anyway, like I said, it was an emotional roller coaster at Payback. We'll get to the pre-show matches in a minute, but the first match I want to cover here is the Tag Team Tournament Finals, sponsored, of course, by Bootios. They make sure you ain't booty. Told you that, Catron.
Yeah, and I wanted I'm not tried that cereal yet though. I'm kind of interested, to see what the heck it tastes like. But from the looks of it, it looks like Lucky Charms. From the looks of it,
it's been a Lucky Charm. They've held the title for nearly 300 days.
Yeah, true.
All right. So anyway, it was the tag team tournament finals, determined a new number one contender for the New Day's tag team championships between NXT, both former NXT tag teams in Enzo Amore and Big Cass,
and the Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry, I'm by myself back here.
You got the photos back there? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, unfortunately, before the match could really get out of the blocks, so to speak, unfortunately, Enzo took a bad bump going into the ropes. He fell into the second rope, hit his head clean against the ring apron, basically knocked himself out. We got the photos for that.
I believe so. Yep, right here.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Here you
We'll get you out of the way. There you go.
Yeah. Taking a bit. I mean, doctors were right on hand to help out. They took Enzo to a nearby hospital. Thankfully, Enzo, he only had mild concussion symptoms. All your tests came out negative. Enzo did come. He was released the same night. So, Enzo will hopefully.
Made it. He's alive.
Yep.
He will hopefully be back sooner than later. Now, while the match itself was declared a no contest, officially, the next night, the Vaudevillains were declared by default to be the number one contenders to Tag Team Championship. So we do have a match for Extreme Rules, which will be the Vaudevillains challenging the New Day. So new school versus old school, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I don't think, no, not so to speak, though, literally.
Literally, because you have a new.
I remember I picked old school.
I'm a big proponent of the old school too. I like the old school wrestling. I like the traditions. I love the different styles. It's a good setup.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how they're gonna promote this, because they've made it clear that that the Vaudevillains are trying to bring the notions of a bygone era to the new era.
Right.
Professional wrestling. So that seems to be their tactic. That seems to be the guiding storyline for them. So we'll see the narrative for them. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, and this is gonna be kind of a tough decision though. Like, who the heck to really root for? The longest time though. The New Day was good, then they're bad. Now they're good, I guess.
This is what I was talking about weeks ago. You had the best team. I could say it was the best example to. As sort of a descent, as a ancestor to Enzo and Cass would be Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo, who were originally a heel tag team coming in, did nothing but heel tactics, light, cheat, and steal, which eventually the crowd came around to loving, and they became sort of a tweener group, a tweener tag team that the crowd loved, because even though they were bad. Here you had New Day, who were bad as faces to start out, turned heel, use those tactics, but then once they started turning those tactics on other heel teams, they became more widely accepted to the point where everyone's in love with all their zany antics and trombone playing and bootios and everything else. Just look. They're coming out of WrestleMania, they were the number one merchandise sellers in all WWE.
Holy crap.
What does that tell you? So they are madly popular. So it'll be interesting to see where they go here, and whether the Vaudevillains will be the ones to finally dethrone them, or they'll just be the proverbial speed bump for the New Day.
Oh yeah. And then, all right, so
lost in all of this. We'll get on to the next one. Lost in all of this is Big Cass. Now, my big question coming out of Payback was, were they going to ship Cass back down to NXT until Enzo healed up, or were they going to try and give him some semblance of a singles run? They seem to be doing it, having him trying to get vengeance on the Vaudevillains. Now, that's all well and good, and like in promos and tag team matches. But eventually, considering the least amount of time that Enzo would be out with a concussion would be a month, 2 months at the
Yes.
most.
Around there.
Around there. So yeah. So they're gonna have to find a way to keep Big Cass relevant and I wouldn't say dominant, but looking good. Looking to be on top. So keeping him and Enzo in the title picture, the tag team title picture for when Enzo comes back. That's gonna be the real challenge, because otherwise, just like with the 5 releases this past week,
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, Cass could very well just get lost in the shuffle. So it's
No kidding. And
I
but
mean, we'll get to the releases after the review.
yeah, and there's actually one topic I do want to talk about, and I still cannot believe this happened though. What's now being referred to as the Chicago screw job.
Right. We go on
Sounds
to
a little weird.
Yeah, we go on to the next match, the women's championship match, with Natalya challenging Charlotte. Natalya countering Ric Flair being in Charlotte's corner with her uncle, the legendary Hitman Bret Hart. Now, this was a nice little back and forth thing. I mean, it was a little It was bumpy at times. I mean, they had a couple of bad spots. I mean, they tried Hurricane Ranas. They tried spicing it up to not much success.
Right.
Now, I mean, when they kept it technical, though, it was very nice. It was smooth. It was a nice, a better flow to it. Now, Charlotte did everything she could do to get Natalya to tap out, to quit. Natalya wouldn't do that. She tried Boston Crabs. She tried to figure 8. She eventually she went so far as to actually lock the sharpshooter on Natalya. At which point, you see Charles Robinson here. Referee Charles Robinson signaled for the bell, but Natalya neither said she quit or tapped out. And for those who aren't familiar with Charles Robinson, he was actually a referee in the old WCW days.
Yep.
He was actually a close personal friend.
How long ago was that?
This was years.
This was like back
in the
during
90s. This was the 90s.
90s, all right.
In the 90s, and he was actually he was actually made the personal referee of Nature Boy Ric Flair, and called Little Nate, and he would actually sub in for Flair in some of his matches. Had the hair, the robe, everything.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that history came to play here as Charles would call for the bell, essentially resulting in what Zach dubbed and what everyone's been dubbing the Chicago screw job. Now, of course, Bret and Natalya took umbrage with this and would go on to lock Flair and Charlotte in tandem sharpshooters. I mean, making for a very nice spot. I mean, Bret pointed this out in his online blog, and he actually made a good point about this. For a screw job type ending, it really fell flat with the crowd, because I mean, they didn't like the screw job ending. It just really didn't come across well on television. I mean, not to mention, the screw job's been played out.
Yeah.
I mean, Shawn and Bret pretty much put this whole thing to bed a few years back. They
Right.
shook hands on it, and people are still trying to bring it up, which kind of
Begs the question, like, what in God's name are they thinking?
right. I mean,
So who ended up winning
It's
this
just
match?
I mean, it was completely messed up. I mean, come on. I mean, we gotta have a repeat in history.
So who
Yeah,
ended
but-
up winning this one?
well, no, Charlotte won it.
By a tap out or no?
Well, no, the ref
Oh, a
writ-
tap
wrong-
out in quotes?
Quote, yeah,
Oh,
quote.
okay.
So it was a screw job finish. I mean,
Oh, that's why.
the
Okay,
ref
thank you.
awarded the match to Charlotte, but Natalya never actually submitted.
Right.
Oh.
She didn't tap out, didn't say she quit. It's nothing
So
like
this
that.
win gets an asterisk on it.
So exactly, yeah, it's a big old asterisk, a big old mark next to it. And now we find out that Extreme Rules, there will be yet another rematch between Natalya and Charlotte.
Ooh, when?
This time a submission match, and this time there will be no one at ringside because Flair, according to Stephanie, has been banned.
Yep. Which I
I mean, I approve of it.
Oh yeah, hands down though. It's just that way. It's right down the middle. There's nobody to screw things up or whatever. Plain and simple submission match. I mean, this is. I mean, from the being them two who took a Payback I mean, Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
This is like,
a submission match.
oh yeah. I mean, honestly, this is like Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit, like all over again.
Well, that was. Well, I mean, yeah, that was an ultimate submission. That was an ultimate submission match. Basically, the submission form of an Iron Man match.
Yeah.
This is a one submission match.
Oh, yes.
There's only one. There's not going to be any 30 minutes. But my biggest issue with this, I mean, is once again you already have an opponent for Charlotte who's been waiting in the wings for 2 months now, and Sasha Banks. And we've heard no word of her. We've heard no indication that Sasha has any interest in this. She hasn't even been on TV for the last few weeks.
Yeah, so...
So I mean, I don't know what they're trying to pull here. I mean, unless Sasha is serving some sort of suspension, I don't know what's. I mean, no one knows what's going on with this. I mean, it seemed like they had a ready-made feud with Charlotte and Sasha, and then she just vanishes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, what
I mean, the last time anyone saw her was at Charlotte's pretty much championship ceremony following the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
No one's heard anything from Sasha. So, I mean, with any luck, I mean, Extreme Rules will be the end of the Natalya Charlotte saga, and then she can eventually move on to other opponents in Sasha, in Becky Lynch, and maybe even a returning Nikki Bella. So, I mean, eventually they're going to have to move on from this because I mean they're making us out to be more about the legacy of these two women and the Flairs and the Hearts rather than the two women themselves.
Right, and
so basically they just need to cut to the chase here, and I mean I can't imagine Charlotte's going to lose here.
I mean, you never know, but like I said though, it's and on top, jeez, and then and actually, there was another thing I wanted to bring up too: the final decision on who is going to run Monday Night Raw.
Right. So I mean, as I alluded to a couple minutes earlier, Vince had to come to a decision on who was going to be running Monday Night Raw, whether it would be Shane or Stephanie. Now, both brought up some interesting points. Stephanie has more of a business mind. She doesn't care what the fans think. She does what supposedly is best for business, while Shane has a tendency to pander to fans and give them what they want, which unfortunately can be, sometimes it can be too much of a good thing. Good thing can be bad. You don't want to give the fans everything because then they're going to want more and more and more and more, to the point where the fan base becomes ultimately unpleasable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both made some good points. Vince basically just took the cop-out here. Instead of going with what we thought was going to be a brand split, where Shane would be running Raw, Stephanie would be running SmackDown, they ended up going the whole Stone Cold Eric Bischoff route, for those who watched Raw during the 2002, 2003, and made them co-general managers of Monday Night Raw. And then we see Stephanie coming out the following night on Raw, putting on the most cheesy, schmaltzy, fake, phony, smiling personality you possibly could.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I was agreeing with Dean Ambrose. Like, are you serious?
I mean,
really?
You could see if anyone watched Raw this past Monday, when she was on the Ambrose Asylum, sadly the last one, where Dean Ambrose was constantly undermining her with question after question. I mean, isn't it infuriating how someone who's been gone for 9 years suddenly comes back in, and now he's got half the power he's got the same amount of power you've got? Asking these kind of questions, I mean, she asked for it. She wanted an open forum, and Dean went pretty much right for the gullet.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's
it's
clear
a co-president type of thing?
What?
Co-president type of thing?
Yeah, co-GM type.
Co-GM, all right.
Yeah.
Co-GM. Vince is still the CEO. He's still the one in charge. He's the chairman.
He's calling all the shots.
He's calling all shots, but these two are running the Monday Night Raw show.
Okay.
That's how it's working here.
Right.
So Vince basically just wants these two to more or less tear each other apart. He wants to put.
Of course he does.
He wants to put them at odds with each other. So now we're just instead of having a legitimate like Raw versus SmackDown type scenario. We're just looking at another few months of McMahon family drama, which of course is always great for riveting television.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds wonderful.
Oh yeah, notice there's no sarcasm in my voice whatsoever.
I mean, honestly, what I think though, I think this whole thing's gonna go down like, I think probably like how the Alliance was formed though. I mean, that whole thing. I think it's gonna come down to Survivor Series.
That was. If anyone who watched 2001, that's where I came in watching professional wrestling. Anyone who watched that was not WWE versus ECW and WCW. That was Vince versus Shane and Stephanie.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have a repeat in history come Survivor Series.
Well, I don't think it's going to be an exact repeat because right now it's Shane versus Stephanie.
Right. So
Vince wants to see who among those two can run Raw effectively.
Sorry.
that's
My
it.
mic's
All
creaking.
right. So anyway, we got a little off track. Here.
Right. Sorry.
Let's get back to
Let's get back to the review.
Yeah, let's get back to the back.
All right. So we have the pre-show matches. The first one being Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Now, this match was fine for what it was. Corbin dominated the majority of it, like he should have. But just the ending was so stupid because Corbin had Ziggler dead to rights, knocked down on the floor, rolls him back in, preens to the crowd, goes back in, gets rolled up for the surprise 3 count. Okay, so once again, WWE is going with 50-50 booking here, which makes no sense because you got a debuting fresh superstar in Corbin. I mean, he may not care about wins or losses, but you don't want the guy losing his first singles pay-per-view match.
Especially at Payback. I mean, this is just as bad as
This
you know
is
the Kiss
com-
Me Earth
Yeah,
match.
no. The context of it is this is coming right out of WrestleMania, where he made his pay-per-view debut, winning the Andre Giant Battle Royal. So you had a chance for Corbin not only to win dominantly in his first pay-per-view singles match, but to legitimize the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which has been constantly under scrutiny as to what the point of it is, other than giving 30 guys a WrestleMania payday.
Yeah.
So instead, they have Corbin lose, albeit a bit fluky, but they still have him lose. And now, I mean, the feud's going to continue because he cost Ziggler a chance the following Monday night to be a #1 contender for the U.S. Championship. So they're going to continue the feud, but all I'm thinking is that they should have had Corbin win the first match.
Yeah.
I mean, having Ziggler win, I mean, what's the point of following up if Corbin can't ultimately beat Ziggler when the chips are down?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I rooted for Corbin though.
I was rooting for Corbin too.
I mean-
not just as because he's a bad guy. Because okay, it was his first match. He should have won his first match.
Yeah, and plus I'm sorry though, but just the guy's more dominant than freaking Ziggler.
And no
so
offense,
yeah.
Ziggler's as far as like momentum goes, Ziggler's a cold fish.
Yes.
He's not going anywhere. There's no storyline plan for him. There's no reason for him to get the winner's share here. I mean, I'm not understanding what the point is.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically just like a flopping fish that just like right out of water that's like trying to jump into the freaking water. It's like he's trying to do this though, or like get to the freaking water. What are you gonna accomplish on that?
Okay, yeah. I get it. You're trying to relax us with some.
It's a little pen puff for you guys.
You guys are getting a little aggressive. I thought
Yeah,
maybe we
yeah,
just
A
bring it
little,
down.
a little pen. He just recorded a new one today.
Does this settle you down a little bit? Everyone take a deep breath. All right, Ken, you lead us. 1, 2, 3. All right, Zach, deep breath.
That's what I think of that.
That's not a deep
Good work,
breath.
Zach.
I don't
Okay,
care.
guys, moving
Come on.
Moving on.
Let's get on with
Moving on.
moving.
All right, so we get to the second pre-show match, the United States Championship. Kalisto defending against Ryback.
Yep.
My problem with this first out was that, I mean, back in last year, 2015, the U.S. title was the focal point of so many great storylines. You had the U.S. Open Challenge with Cena. You had Ryback. You had Rusev, who was on a tear, holding undefeated up until WrestleMania last year, holding the United States Championship.
Yep.
You had John Cena facing off against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, where the man whoever the winner was would be the first man to hold the World Championship and United States Championship.
That's wrong, because there was one other guy that did that, and that was Goldberg.
Well, we're talking about WWE World Championship.
Oh,
The WWE World Championship.
Yeah. All right.
They're being specific here.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then but yet now, for 2 straight months, and Brian and I touched on this, the U.S. title has been relegated to the pre-show.
Which is kind of messed up.
It is, and that's not knocking on Kalisto or Ryback, but I mean just the way, not only the way the title's been booked, but the way Kalisto has been booked. He should be stringing together wins, not dominant wins, but he should be picking up win after win after win. He hasn't been doing that. Neither was a challenger Ryback. So you really had 2 guys with very little momentum going into this match, and albeit they put together a really good match, a lot of good strength, power versus speed. You had that crazy press slam off with Ryback standing on the second rope, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean it was a little clunky with Ryback trying to sell some of Kalisto's more unique high flying offense. But they put together, I thought, was a really good match. A lot of close near falls. I mean, Kalisto picked up a big win following Ryback missing the top rope frog splash. Now, I mean, and you want add a little bit of hilarity. I mean, Ryback making an entrance a la former faves, CM Punk, in Chicago.
Oh.
So CM Punk's hometown for the wrestling illiterate. Yes, Nick, I include you in that sentence.
Thank you very much.
I just didn't want to point you out by name.
No, that's fine.
Oops.
Oh,
All right,
sorry.
so
Did you say something, Ken?
No,
No.
nothing.
Oh, Ken, watch this. Oops. You're no longer on TV. Now you're on. You might, here, the connection's this. We'll just leave that like that.
Hey! Hello! Thank you. Hey. Yeah, you're talking to the original stars here. Thank you very much. Anywho.
Don't encourage him.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Thank you.
All right, so, I mean, and then we find out the news that Ryback is not happy with his position in WWE. He doesn't feel like he's getting what he deserves. He doesn't feel like he's getting the proper encouragement. He doesn't feel like that he's at the best place for him in WWE right now. And I mean, I can empathize with Ryback a little bit. I can understand his frustration. And apparently these contract disputes between him and WWE have been going on for a while now. But, I mean, here's the thing. He's in the biggest promotion, the biggest wrestling promotion, at least in America, if not the world.
Yep.
So, bottom line, I mean, he's just going to need to suck it up.
Yeah. It's either that or just change the gimmick.
I mean, change the gimmick, go to New Japan, go to Impact Wrestling.
Take a break, come back.
Take a break like Wade Barrett did. Wade Barrett, we found out recently, I mean, a little segue here. We found out Wade Barrett said that he has put in his notice to WWE, dissolved the last few weeks of his contract. He will be taking like he said, a well-deserved break from wrestling. He's been doing it for 9 straight years.
Yeah.
And I'll go on the record saying I don't feel like he was properly utilized. I'm sure there are fans out there who will disagree with me, but I mean, I wish him nothing but the best.
Yep.
Go out, get some rest, Mr. Bad News, and come back strong.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're going to come down. No, seriously, you are probably going to be one of the guys that will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame because of the Nexus. Honestly, the most destructive force in the WWE.
And because he turned a bad gimmick and bad news into something worthwhile. So he was a great joke character, and he was a good wrestler too.
Yep.
So all the more power to Mr. Barrett. Now, as for Kalisto, the United States champion, there was as I mentioned, there was a battle royal on this past Monday to determine a new #1 contender. U.S. Championship.
Yep.
And it came down to Rusev and surprise, Zack Ryder. Rusev would ultimately get the win, eliminating Ryder. So now it will be Rusev back in United States Championship hunt, going up against Kalisto. Now, I actually think this is good for both men because Kalisto needs a legitimate opponent. You really can't get much more legitimate than a former U.S. champion in Rusev. And this is a chance where I think really Rusev to resume his dominance. He's split off from the League of Nations now, as Brian so aptly predicted. So now he's kind of back on his own. He's got the wheels spinning again. He's hit the
plus
ground.
he's got Lana back too.
He's got Lana back. So really, I think he's back where he's most comfortable in just driving forward, dominating, crushing his opposition, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think this will be good for both men. It'll be good for Kalisto to have a legitimate opponent, and it'll be good for Rusev kind of get back in the swing of things as far as championship hunt goes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Kalisto. I don't see. Well, I mean, this is gonna be a tough break for you, man. And I mean, the last couple of pay-per-views, I've been rooting for this guy, though. I mean, if he can pull it off for a fourth time, I swear to God.
I mean, you've been right to do it because I mean, when it comes to making predictions for Kalisto matches, everyone's been going against the grain. You've been going with Kalisto, and you've come up bully every time. So I mean,
Kalisto, for the love of God, keep this train rolling, please, please.
All right.
All right, but moving on.
So anyway, moving on. We come to I believe the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh yeah, that's
match,
right.
Where you had the Miz defending against Cesaro. Essentially, it was basically a battle of the Marine versus James Bond.
Yes.
Who is who?
Well, the Miz played the Marine in the Marine 4.
Actually, 3 and 4.
And Cesaro's been making his James Bond-esque entrances.
Yep, which is
pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, watch the vid sometime.
Yeah,
Nick, it's called YouTube.
Okay.
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 All right. So
How do you spell that? I don't know.
Really? Oh dear God.
Relax. He's being sarcastic.
Okay, good.
All
Right, but anywho.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, now I can say a lot of things about Miz. I mean, he's a great heel. Very smarmy, very cocky.
Yep.
And he can actually wrestle a very good technical, if kind of a general technical style.
Yep.
Kind of plain Jane, if you will. But he did wrestle a good match against Cesaro, who was dominant pretty much throughout the match. Miz has spots here and there, keeping Cesaro down with a bad shoulder and the figure 4. Now, what was interesting about this, now this was following the Zayn-Owens match.
Oh yeah.
Where Owens basically said, okay, I'm going back in the hunt for the Intercontinental title. I'm going to be on commentary for the next match. So there he was on commentary with JBL's cowboy hat on.
Wow.
Nick, that was your cue.
Trying to find it. There it is.
There you go. All right, so there he was on commentary. Out of nowhere comes Zayn, who beats the bejesus out of Kevin. These two are pretty much pounding each other up onto the ring apron, where Cesaro had Miz in the crossface.
That's in the announcing booth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, the announce table.
Yeah.
That's table. Sorry.
Table, yeah. So they were assaulting each other up onto the ring apron, which distracted the ref. Cesaro actually had Miz, as you can see here, in the crossface, tapping out for the first time because Cesaro's almost never made anyone tap out with the crossface.
Yeah.
So he had Miz beat, except the ref was distracted. Cesaro goes to knock these two off the apron. Miz surprises Cesaro with a roll-up for a 3 count and retains his title. Now, this was actually good all around because it keeps Cesaro strong because Miz only won off a distraction.
Right.
It keeps Miz's title reign looking strong and not just a matter of hot-shotting the belt from him to Cesaro like they did with Miz and Zack Ryder.
Yep.
So what? This one gets another asterisk, technically, right?
I
Little
mean,
kind
it
of
was
small asterisk.
Well, it's a very small asterisk because roll-ups are roll-up. I mean, If Cesaro had any sense, he wouldn't have gotten distracted, and he would just wait for the ref to turn around.
Right.
His fault.
But then again,
He literal snoozed, he lose type of thing.
pretty much.
In a sense, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, and from what we saw on Monday Night Raw, how all four of these men were going after each other. In the last, I mean, Miz pretty much hocked his tail and was leaving like the chicken, as I always claimed him. And you see Sami Zayn holding the Intercontinental title, so it goes to show you we might have a fatal four-way.
No, I mean, it's not a matter of might, it's that we will, because now, I mean, you got Cesaro, who's still got a claim for the Intercontinental Championship against Miz. You got Owens, who wants to be back in the Intercontinental title hunt, and legitimately has not gone his one-on-one rematch
True.
for the Intercontinental Championship, which he has a contractual claim to. I mean, he has a rematch clause in his contract.
Right.
He has gotten that. That's the one valid point he's made. And then you got Zayn, who's basically just in pursuit of Owens. So I mean, it's not a matter of might we have a fatal four-way. It's more a matter that we're going to have a fatal four-way.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I mean, considering the nature of the four men you have here, we could be looking at a match of the year candidate. The way this one's shaping up.
Hands down, though, and possibly we might be seeing a new Intercontinental champion.
I mean, and like with most fatal four-ways, it's going to be a toss-up. You could have Zayn, you could have Owens, you could have Cesaro. All three could be very legitimate contenders for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep. So it's
all right.
Oh yeah, and then speaking of, I mean, we did kind of spoil a little bit, for the Zayn versus Owens.
Well, I mean, speaking of one half of that table for that scene for the Intercontinental title, we had Zayn facing off with Owens. I mean, a very intense personal rivalry, years in the making. These two have faced off time and again in NXT, in ROH, in every sort of match, ladder wars, hardcore matches, street fights. I mean, and
the list goes on.
The list goes on. These two faced off in yet another amazing war. I mean, basically, Zayn, and it played out so well because you had Zayn coming back, and Owens had to snuff him out at every opportunity. But Zayn would just not go away to the point whereas the only way that Owens was able to pick up a win over Zayn was just barely missing off a haluva kick and hitting the pop-up powerbomb for the win. Now, while it was obviously a clean victory, puts Owens right back into the hunt for the Intercontinental title. The indication being with this, and of course the follow-up in the Intercontinental title match, this feud is far from over.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's good. It was a good match in itself. It didn't give too much away. And it leaves a lot open for a rematch later down the line where they can just go full hog, 20, 25 minutes, and give us like a 4 or 5 star match.
Exactly. And then I think we also had Jericho versus Ambrose, right?
We had Jericho versus Ambrose battling over all things, a imaginary talk show. Well, then again, we've had two men fight over a shampoo commercial in wrestling, so this isn't probably the weirdest thing people have had a feud over.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Miss WrestleMania.
Yeah. Let's set about. Okay.
All right, but
all right. So anyway, this was a match I felt like. I mean, I know most matches I say could go another 5-10 minutes. This one could actually have gone a little less.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good match, but the thing with Jericho lately is that he tries to plan out a main event style match, but the problem is when something doesn't quite go his way, he doesn't really know how to follow up. He doesn't really know how to change things on the fly like he used to, like during 04, 05, 06, especially during his most honest man gimmick days during 08 and 09.
Yeah.
So he's not able to change up things on the fly as well as he used to. And it kind of showed here because the match, while it was good, it was plodding, it was bumpy. I mean, you had a lot of slow spots between the two men. It seemed like it was too far, well rehearsed, if you will.
Yeah, way too much.
I mean, in the end, Ambrose did pick up the victory, getting a struggling Jericho into the Dirty Deeds DDT for the victory. However, we find out the next night that Stephanie, with her new co-GM power, canceled the Ambrose Asylum, brought back the highlight reel, and,
Mega
and
boo.
Jericho was welcomed back by clocking Ambrose with his beloved potted plant,
Yeah.
who will be sorely missed.
Yes.
All
Not
right.
really.
All right. So I mean, so the feud obviously continues. I mean, Ambrose did get a measure. Ambrose did get a measure come up and getting the win over Jericho, but obviously Jericho clocking Ambrose means the feud must continue.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll likely see some extreme stipulation, whatever that may be. Maybe it'll be a potted plant match. You never.
Battle of the potted plants.
Potted plant on a pole match.
Yeah.
How's that for alliteration?
Yeah, grab the plant,
The
smash it on a
the
guy,
potted
wham,
plant
you
paper
win.
preview.
Oh yeah, that'll be an interesting match to call.
Yep. And
Potted plant preview.
All right.
all right, but I think we're at the main event now.
I believe we are at the main event. AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Championship. Now, you could tell from the outset that Roman wanted to end this early. I mean, he didn't want to take any chances on AJ making any sort of comeback because he knew what AJ was capable of at the Royal Rumble. Reigns just hitting power move after power move on Styles to try to keep him down. You see with the sit-out power bomb, the one-arm power bomb, basically doing everything he could to disorient Styles early on, but Styles, in true fashion, kept coming back. This was the highlight, I think, of the whole pay-per-view, not just the match. The amazing, phenomenal forearm on Reigns, driving them both through the table. Now, the interesting part here was that this would result in AJ winning by countout because Reigns was basically a limp fish. AJ couldn't muscle Reigns back into the ring. AJ was forced to take the countout victory. Now, Shane would come out with his newfound co-GM power, restart the match to be no countouts. But then you see right here, Reigns with an accidental low blow on Styles would cause the match to be thrown out to be awarded to AJ via disqualification. So in the span of one night, AJ beat Roman Reigns twice.
Yep. But of course, here comes Steph.
Here comes Steph. Restarts. Says the match will not end like that. The show will not end like that. So they restart the match. No countouts, no disqualifications. So of course that brings Anderson and Gallows to ringside to help out AJ, lay him out with the big boot and Dream Killer. I mean, then you have the Usos coming out to back up Reigns. Turns into a big whole mess. You have Reigns diving on top of everyone. You have AJ hitting Reigns with a couple of phenomenal forearms, making big counters to the Superman punch, including this amazing counter right here. But eventually, AJ would go for the phenomenal forearm one time too many. Reigns ducking under, hitting a big-time spear, and picking up the victory over AJ. Now, how this was followed up, we have the McMahons acknowledging that, hey, AJ did have 2 victories over Reigns. He is due a rematch.
Yep.
So they decide just to cut out the middleman here. They made the rematch for Extreme Rules for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Literally, as the title says, Extreme Rules.
So literally, anything goes. Anything goes. So you can expect a lot of interesting things here. Now, what was also interesting about this is that we did not see Finn Balor making his debut as all the rumors abound were making out to be. So it's good that they're holding off on Finn. They're doing the slow burn for this, okay? You don't want to spoil everything right away by bringing in Balor and having the Bullet Club making its full debut. So, I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot to go over in the coming weeks towards Extreme Rules.
Oh, yes. I mean, heck, though, we might even possibly see them in Extreme Rules. Maybe. I mean, it is Extreme Rules. Anything goes. I mean, it's a tough thing now. And just like I said, though, anything can happen, though. And this is Extreme Rules, though, where literally anything is available to be used.
Yep. So now we come to the final segment of the day, Dirt Sheet Dilemma. And as we alluded to at the top of the show, WWE has been doing what we like to call, what the IWC likes to call spring cleaning for the WWE.
Yep.
Coming to terms with 5 releases, those being former manager Zeb Coulter, Hornswoggle, El Torito, Cameron, and maybe a little surprisingly, NXT commentator and wrestler Alex Riley.
Which I was a little disappointed about.
Right. I mean, Cameron, it's not so much of a shocker because she's
Yeah.
basically been relegated down to NXT wrestling house shows.
Yep.
They're repackaging Epico and Primo, so there's
Yeah.
really no point to El Torito anymore.
Right.
Hornswoggle hasn't been on screen since 3MB fell apart
Yeah,
over a year ago.
Yeah, and let's not forget that.
Yeah. Zeb Coulter hadn't been seen since the failed Mex America gimmick with Del Rio.
Thank God.
Yeah. And Alex, in the same vein as Wade Barrett, Alex had a bunch of potential. Following his 2012 feud with The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, though, he had a great connection with the crowd. The crowd
Right.
went nuts for him every time his music hit.
Oh, yeah.
But after his feud with The Miz, Alex just seemed to fall off the radar.
Mm-hmm.
He popped up in NXT as a commentator. Wasn't all that good, unfortunately. And unfortunately, his ring skills also kind of stagnated during his time in NXT.
Yeah.
So that could be the reason why he was let go. Now, do I think he has potential to do great elsewhere?
Oh, yeah.
I believe so. Could he be like the next EC3 of Impact Wrestling?
Maybe.
I think he very well could if he has the right motivation, if he has the right people coaching him on in-ring chemistry, in-ring psychology, and coaching him on mic skills.
Yeah.
I think Alex could utilize that potential that he had all those years ago.
Exactly. So and then of course, adding on to Wade Barrett, like I said, Wade, the ups and downs though, like I said though, and Nexus. You are the first ever, NXT, winner. And on top of that though,
Former King of the Ring,
Yep.
multiple time
Yeah.
Intercontinental champion. So you can't take away from his successes.
no.
He's had feuds with some of the more major stars in WWE, so you can't take that away from him.
Nope.
So again, we wish nothing but the best to for all the former WWE performers, and of course Wade Barrett.
Yes.
As for Ryback, nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't want any more meat on the table.
We don't want more.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah.
Feed us less.
Yes.
All right. Well, in my case, feed me much less. Okay.
Well,
okay.
in that case, feed me more.
All right. So anyway, that is all for episode 114 of the Wrestling Connection. You tune in next week for episode 115. Hopefully we'll have more up-to-date coverage of Extreme Rules. Again, 2 weeks from this Sunday. In the meantime, if you have any thoughts about the show, you can email us at wrestlingconnection@gmail.com. You can check out our new minty fresh Google Plus page and TV Tropes page, both titled The Wrestling Connection. You can also check out all of our past and present videos on our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Connection.
Yep.
And of course, some special videos and behind-the-scene videos and classic WK moments, such as our ice bucket challenge.
Yep. Which is
still chilly.
Yeah. And then let's not also forget,
our Facebook page, of course. And you can always hit us up on our Twitter handle @WConnection and drop all your thoughts and well wishes for Zach's upcoming birthday.
Yep. And I was also gonna mention too our oh my gosh, the best of
Of course, you can catch the best of the Wrestling Connection
And
our 100th episode spectacular.
Yep.
All on our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Connection.
Yep, and of course, where I completely where I decimated
The almighty printer.
Yep, and pretty much, Mr. Printer, you got introduced to what is now my favorite city, Super Kick City. Population so far 1. I'm waiting for more victims.
One printer.
Yep.
All right.
So in the meantime, folks,
remember, as always,
be connected, get connected, stay connected. Y'all have a good night, folks, and party on.
For Zach Martinkus, for Nick and Mr. Greg Dolan, have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. There's some things that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it. The Wrestling Connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da da. La da 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 da. Yeah. Have a good night, folks, and party on! Woo! Oh yeah!